They were natural enemies. The men who ran the trains and the men who rode them to nowhere. Now a motion picture company is making a film about the conflict between trainmen and hobos during the hard times of the early 30s. Shooting it with three men who made box office history with another movie of action and conflict, The Dirty Dozen. They are Academy Award-winning actors Lee Marvin, Ernest Borgnine, and director Robert Aldrich. The picture is The Emperor of the North. For this film, Robert Aldrich would have to recreate an era. Their biggest problem would be to find and operate the great steam-driven freight trains that crisscrossed America 40 years ago. Because for this film, the train is the principal set, and the set is in motion. The men who make action movies like Aldrich, Marvin, and Borgnine know the physical demands and dangers of their craft. Ernest Borgnine describes their work.
When you see the people working on top of trains, it's actually the actors going through any of the motions of climbing up and down, because everything is always so close. And I'm very happy to say we get quite adept at it.
Get your hand on the rod here. Hold on. Now give me your other hand. Come on, swing it across. Come on, let's go. Now swing your elbow on the rod. On the rod. Now up. Get up.
Like acting, running the trains can be a dangerous business.
We got 4 minutes. Take her out. Up track.
What if we don't make it?
We got no choice. 2 miles back, 1 mile up. Move it.
In one of the film's most spectacular sequences, two trains barrel toward one another at high speed in a dense fog. This sequence alone took weeks to create. While this is one of Lee Marvin's most dangerous roles, it's also one he can explore and enjoy.
Lee represents a man who says, I don't want to do it that way, I want to do it my way.
I think it's a wonderful role because it's nostalgic. We all remember, the steam engines and the hobos and all that routine of the Depression. So I think it has a lot of that romanticism in it. It's an all-male cast, a bunch of guys out in the jungles and doing the funny things that they did. There's a lot of comedy in it. But it's the violence of the Depression, if you know what I mean by that, hard times.
I'm trusting you, kid. Cover for me. Hey, you come back here!
Praise the Lord and give me another sinner. You're next, brother. You're next, brother. I will immerse you rather than have you go to the Presbyterians.
Well, save me from the Presbyterians.
Oh, Lord, give the world to this poor sinner.
Jesus Christ.
That's right. Trust in the Lord, brother.
The Lord is my tabernacle.
And his ship is filled with gold.
And set sail for the pearly gates.
Hallelujah, brother!
A number 1 has been on the road for years, and there isn't a train he's afraid to ride. But to steal a ride on number 19 took the ultimate in nerve and know-how. Hobos steered clear of the train at any time because the conductor was feared in every hobo's heart. His name was the Shack. For Ernest Borgnine, the role of a train man brought back memories.
My father used to be a brakeman on the old New York, New Haven, and Hartford Railroad in his young days. He said before he was going to lose any arms or legs, he quit.
The Shack had his own brand of punishment if he caught a tramp on his train.
Any tramp that sets foot on my train,
I'd hold him out and shake him to death like a snake.
A number 1 accepts a challenge to try and ride number 19.
Hey, number 1! Hey, number 1! His name is on the car, I seen it. Northbound to Portland.
Every good motion picture is made up of a number of important elements. This film is no exception. It needed a director with the vigor and imagination of a Robert Aldrich, and it needed stars that were both talented and tough.
Grab the rope!
But most of all, it needed what every good movie story needs: conflict.
Hey, bro! Hey, bro! Hey, you listening? In 3 damn minutes, you're going to hear a whistle, which will mean a fast mail coming down through the junction. That'll mean a head-on With 10 people aboard!
Sounds like a ghost story to me. See you around, Jack.
Robert Aldrich had his two powerful men in conflict with each other.
The important thing is that the fight is joined. Ernie represents one side, Lee represents the other side. Keith represents the guy who's going to jump either way. Whoever wins, he's going to be on his side. I got the hammer, I look at it, right now. He's picking up the 2x4. Okay, 1 second.
Like railroading, filmmaking requires split-second timing.
All right, we're up to where Ernie goes to the chain.
You brought a different angle, right down across.
He ducked across and he caught me behind the back.
Right.
Oh, which drove me down and I tried to come up with it.
Hit you on the hands like that, you drop that.
Yeah.
Now you got nothing.
After days of rehearsal, the shooting begins, and this scene is particularly complicated because the set will be in constant motion.
Our fight's over here.
The actors, the crew, the trains, the movie makers are at work for the Emperor of the North.